What's up, everyone? Marc Lobliner, TigerFitness.com, bringing it back. This is what I used to do back in the day. We're bringing it back. This is from X, AKA for us old heads, Twitter. So I'm doing a Q&A on there, and here's the question I would like to answer from OG Atmospheric Riverboat Captain at 3 on 05881723. So a lot to say. What is the best way to determine how much recovery is required between workouts? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. OG Atmospheric Riverboat Captain. So when you look at how much time you need between workouts, first you need to understand how hard you train that day. And that's why if you look at the guys like Paul Carter, Lift Run Bang 1 on Instagram, he's a big proponent of hitting your muscles multiple times a week. For example, 3 full body splits, but you're only doing 1 to 2 sets per body part, but you're doing them right up to or to failure. So about 1 rep in reserve. So when you do it like that, you're not beating your muscles up and doing all that unnecessary volume or necessary volume, I'll get to that in a little bit, then you're able to come back with less damage done a day later, or you skip a day, then go. So it's every other day, and get it done again and go hard again. So that is one way to look at it. How hard did you train? Then you look at someone like a Dorian Yates. What Dorian Yates did is he would do a similar thing, but he'd do multiple exercises for that muscle group. For example, for chest, he would do a chest press and a fly going beyond failure, eliciting a lot of damage. So he would only do that once per week. If you look at typical bro split, which is a body part split, let's say chest Monday, back Tuesday, off, then you got legs Thursday, shoulders Friday, arms Saturday. So you're doing a lot of volume for that one body part. So you're going to have more rest. So for that scenario, you're going to rest a little bit more. You're going to rest a week. You're literally taking a week off between training that same muscle. Then you got another training style, which is, let's say, push-pull legs. So you do chest, shoulder, tricep, then you do back and bicep, then you have a leg day. Now, with that being said, you're doing less volume because you have more stuff in that day. You just can't go hard for that long, right? You can't do 3 body parts with the same intensity throughout the workout. You do 1 body part. So push-pull legs, a lot of people do push-pull legs off, push-pull legs. Some people do push off, pull off, legs off. There's so many ways to design it, right? So you see what I'm saying? Upper, lower, off, upper, lower, off, off. That's another one you can do. So the amount of recovery you need will depend on how hard and how much volume you have in that training session. But I will argue that most people don't train hard enough to even worry about it. Most people train like sissies. So in my opinion, recovery isn't the issue. It's actually going to the gym, training hard. I mean, training to the point where you're taking it to that last rep, you can barely get it up with proper form. That is what you're looking for, and I see very few people do that. This question actually only applies to 1% of the gym population that I see. I'm not even lying. I'm not trying to be a tough guy. I'm just saying people just don't train hard enough. For those of us who do, number 1 is make sure you're training hard enough to need recovery days in the first place. Another thing is once you get to that level of training, you just have to rely on those certain things, right? Like if you train with higher volume, with intensity, you need more rest than if you train with lower volume with high intensity or medium intensity with high volume, because you're just gonna need more time for your body to recover systemically and muscularly. Let's talk about pre-workouts. See, a lot of them just get you spiked and then you crash. The crash is crazy. When I take a pre-workout, I don't want my heart beating out of my chest. I can't do a set to failure with that. No, I want something that gets me focused. I want my mind to just go, I'm gonna get all the weight. I want my body to feel like I can go crush it, make the gains of my life. That's why the pre-workout I use is Ambrosia Kinetic. Ambrosia Kinetic is the greatest mushroom-enhanced mind and body performance booster pre-workout ever created. Go to TigerFitness.com now. That's TigerFitness.com. Coupon code MAHA, M-A-H-A, MAHA. MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. And you get 10% off, not just Kinetic, but the entire site. Go to tigerfitness.com now, save and make the gains you've been wanting. I hope you guys are following along. I'm trying my best to make this as concise as possible. Looking at the word overtraining. Overtraining is very hard to do. It's a nervous system thing. You have to literally have poor nutrition. You have to be dehydrated. There's a lot of things that have to go on. Overtraining rarely happens. But what you do have to worry about is either acute or semi-acute rhabdomyolysis. Now, rhabdo is where your kidneys essentially have too much byproduct of training intensity, of muscle damage, whatever, and it goes through and your kidneys basically, they shut down. So I've known guys who've literally pissed out what looks like oil. It's like engine oil, motor oil coming out of their penis. Terrible thing, or vagina, or whatever you call pee hole for a woman. I'm not a biologist. So that was a Supreme Court justice joke for you guys on Twitter. So that is what you need to look at. Like if you got rhabdo, and a lot of times you get that from CrossFit because they use so much intensity in their training, and they also have volume, they have reps, they have intensity, they have time. There's a lot of things that can go wrong when you're doing something like CrossFit. You don't know how to modulate that volume, to actually control it so you don't injure yourself. You don't get something like rhabdomyolysis. So when I'm looking at a training program overall, I'm looking at something that accounts for rest and recovery. But there's one thing that I must say is a huge variable, and that is genetics. Some people can just genetically recover. I used to be that guy in my 20s, in my early 30s. I was able to just go. I was able to just nail it every day. I could literally squat one day, deadlift the next, bench press, do it all over again. I'd be going heavy and hard, high volume every time. But then I got old. And now I realize that, hey, sometimes I just need to take the L. I'm not going to be able to train like I did in my 20s. So I allow more rest. Now, if I am going to do a frequency program like upper, lower, I know that I need to make sure that I keep my volume down, but I also want to make sure I get 1 to 2 sets where I'm actually hitting that muscle with the utmost force going within 1 rep in reserve or 1 rep shy of failure. Hopefully you're following that. So when you do those kind of splits, you also have to account for your own personal recovery ability. And if you're a beginner, you could probably get away with a lot because you're not able to really mentally contract and recruit as much muscle fiber, and you're not going as heavy. So Dorian Yates, he always said that the more advanced you get, the stronger you get, the more rest you need. And that's true. Because if you've ever done a really heavy day and you were like benching 135, you were good. If you're doing a really heavy day and you're benching 315, that's a whole different story. So you just need more times for your tendons, your joints, everything to recover. So also you got to factor in just personal things. Like if you did bench or whatever, your shoulder's a little tweaked out, don't go bench heavy again. Don't do that. Take a little more recovery to let that thing heal. Because when you're lifting, it's not just muscular soreness or muscular recovery. You need overall body recovery. You need your joints to recover, your cartilage, all these things, they get beat up. And sometimes your body needs a little extra time. But I will say, for the most part, most people simply don't train hard enough to worry about this. I mean, there are a small percentage of people, even people who go to the gym, who train hard enough. When I go to the gym, I see people just going through the motions and just training, and that's good. They're exercising, they're burning calories, they're being active, they probably feel really good afterwards. But if you really want to elicit muscle growth, if you really want to progress, whether you're an athlete or you're a bodybuilder, you need to train hard enough to elicit those responses within your body so you can get those gains. Hopefully that made sense to you guys. Anyway, hopefully you like this video. One thing is use coupon code MAHA, M-A-H-A, MAHA at tigerfitness.com. Get 10% off the entire site. Okay, use that. Support me, please. We could use the business right now. Also, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, click on the notification bell. And of course, remember, because being crippled because you're not resting enough, that's not a game.